What's up? How's it going? And welcome into the Sports Talk podcast on Thursday, April 11th. Today's show, I will go over player of the night from Wednesday, along with my weekend preview for this weekend. Let's get started. My player of the week from Wednesday is Eduard Julien of the Twins. He had a massive game. He went 3 for 4 with 3 runs batted in. 3 runs scored, 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in. He is 61% rostered. I think right now that's an okay roster rate for him. But if he can continue to hit, the only caveat, if he can continue to hit, I think he's a good waiver wire add. But the only downside is that he does not play against left-handed pitching. So he's a platoon guy. He does not play against lefties. If he played against lefties, I would feel 100% fine with picking him up. Here's my waiver wire edition for today. And this time I'm giving you a couple relievers / starting pitchers. First is Royals reliever James McArthur, 5.3% rostered. Now, I'm not going to say that McArthur is the closer for the Royals, but I think that he's going to take over as the closer soon enough. And you want to get a head start on that, because if you need saves, McArthur might be the guy for you to get those saves. Number 2, White Sox reliever / starter Michael Kopech, 4.4% rostered. It looks like Kopech might be the closer for the White Sox. And I say might because the White Sox aren't going to have that many opportunities to get saves, because I don't think they're going to win that many more games, because Luis Roberts out, Yohan Moncada's out, Eloy Jimenez is out. That's 3 of their best players. So, but I would still add Kopech just in case they have save opportunities. Number 3 is Cardinals reliever Jojo Romero. Now, with Romero, he will get you strikeouts, but sometimes he goes multiple innings, which could be a good thing. And I think if you need multi-inning guys to get you innings, I think Romero's your guy. And then the last guy is Ben Brown, 1.1% rostered, starting pitcher / reliever for the Cubs. It sounds like he's going to get one more turn through the rotation. He's going to be in the rotation till Justin Steele comes back. And tentatively, his next start is on Monday. So if you need starting pitching help, and Ben Brown's he had that one blow-up game in his Major League debut where he gave up a bunch of runs, but the start he made this week, he was actually really good. And I would consider adding Ben Brown to my roster. If he is, 2 of these 4 guys are spark eligible, which means you can either put him in starting pitcher or you could put him as reliever in your pitching position on your fantasy baseball team. Weekend predictions. I nailed the first one last week, which was Ryan Pepiot or the Rays. Starting pitcher Ryan Pepiot or the Rays goes 6 innings. I think he's going to go 6 innings again this week and give up on Sunday and give up 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Now, I could also see the downside, and I could see Pepiot walking 2 or 3 guys, still getting those 9 strikeouts, and giving up 2 to 3 2 to 3 runs and a couple more hits. But if he pitches like he did in Colorado, I don't have any issue with this prediction. Reds, shortstop Ellie De La Cruz steals 6 bases at White Sox, which means he would steal 3 bases tomorrow night and 3 on Saturday. And heads up, tomorrow night, I will be talking about it at the end of the show. Tomorrow night, I have a certain something going on at 7 p.m. on YouTube that y'all are welcome to join. Number 3, Tigers outfielder Riley Green has a huge weekend. And if you had Riley Green in your lineup today, the Tigers are not playing. Their game against the Twins has been postponed. They're still playing 4 games. The series just starts tomorrow and goes through Sunday. They play a doubleheader on Saturday. I think Riley Green has a big weekend, and then Max Meyer against the Braves. I might be biting off more than I could chew, but I think Max Meyer goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. I'm biting the bullet here. I don't think he walks a single batter in this start, and he strikes out 4. 4 strikeouts. My weekend preview pitchers to stream. First one, I just spoke of him a minute ago. It is Ryan Pepiot, starting pitcher, Tampa Bay Rays, Sunday versus the Giants. Can he follow up the good start, the really good start he had last Sunday against the Rockies? If he can, I think he needs to be widely rostered. Number 2, Athletic starting pitcher Paul Blackburn, Friday versus the Nationals. This is another one. Blackburn had 4 strikeouts in his last start. Can he double that and get maybe 5 or 6? If he can, I think he's a very, very reasonable, very, very reasonable waiver wire pitcher to stream this week. Red starting pitcher Graham Ashcraft. This is the last time I'm going to talk about Ashcraft. I barely talked about him this year. He has not been good. He starts Sunday at the White Sox. And if he can do really good in that start, I think that he's kind of back. And then we've got Giants starting pitcher Keaton Wynn, Friday at the Rays. This Keaton Wynn, this is only in deeper leagues. Deep league ad only. Waiver wire part 2, hitters. Cubs outfielder / DH / third baseman. He just gained third base eligibility last night. Christopher Morel, 56% rostered. 56.6% rostered. With Morel, I think he needs to be rostered in a lot more leagues. I think he needs to be rostered in close to 65 to 70% of leagues. Number 2, and I don't know how this guy's under 60% rostered. It was the same thing with Jackson Holiday before he got called up the other day. Jackson Churio, outfielder Brewers, 42.8% rostered. This kid is the real deal. And I don't understand how he is severely under rostered. He needs to be rostered in more leagues. Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran is the next guy. And Duran is 41% rostered. Okay, that's relatively reasonable. But I think Duran's another guy that needs to be rostered in more leagues. More like 50 to 60% of leagues. And then the last guy is Ryan McMahon, second baseman / third baseman for the Rockies. 42.9% rostered. I think he also needs to be rostered in a little bit more leagues. I'm going to say maybe 45%. Prospect call-up predictions. Prospect call-up predictions. And this is a new segment that's going to be aired every Thursday on the show. And these are the first 4 prospects I'm going to talk about. 2 outfielders and 2 pitchers. Guardians, George Valera. And the way this works is it's going to be the guy I think gets called up first. The one that gets called up early in the season, and then one that gets called up late. So first is George Valera, outfielder for the Guardians. I think once Cleveland figures out that they might not win their division, and they might start trading off a couple of their outfielders, maybe a Miles Straw or a one of their outfielders, maybe Ramon Laureano, then I think George Valera gets called up first week of July. Pete Crow Armstrong, I don't understand why he didn't make the opening day roster for the Cubs. He's an outfielder. I think he gets called up the first week of June. The only 2 outfielders I trust with the Cubs are Suzuki and Bellinger. I don't trust whoever they run out there. Ian Happ, but you could platoon. Ian Happ is a good outfielder, but I think Pete Crow Armstrong needs to be in the big leagues by the first week of June. Mets left-handed pitcher Nate Lavender. I think he gets called up after the deadline. Because there's many people that think the Mets won't make the playoffs this year and they'll regress from last year. I'm not one of them, but I could see that avenue, and they trade off a couple pitchers and they call up left-hander Nate Lavender after the deadline. It could be him. It could be Christian Scott that they call up, or Mark Vassell, I think is how you say his name. One of those 3 could be called up after the deadline. And then Ricky Tiedemann, left-handed pitcher, Toronto Blue Jays. I think he gets called up before the All-Star break. I think the only reason he didn't make the Blue Jays out of spring training was because they wanted to see what Bowden Francis could do. And I don't know if I trust Bowden Francis. I think Ricky Tiedemann needs to be called up before the All-Star break, maybe even earlier than that. And the last portion of the show is my waiver wire part 2 hitters to stream. My number 1 hitter to stream this weekend is Will Benson of the Cincinnati Reds. 3 games at the White Sox, and the White Sox pitching has not particularly been good. He is 5.4% rostered. He has been playing basically every day for the Reds in the outfield. And if you need outfield help, I would recommend picking him up and keeping him until the Reds get healthy in that outfield. Number 2 is Braves outfielder Jared Kelenic. They've got 3 games he's got 3 games at the Marlins this week, and the Marlins are one of the worst pitching staffs in baseball. And I would exploit this matchup heavily. If you have any Braves on your team, I would play him all 3 games against the Marlins. And Kelenick's only 10.8% roster. Another guy I'm going to talk about, and it is A's outfielder, Athletics outfielder J.J. Bleday. 3 games against the Nationals, 2.9% rostered. It seems like he's getting more rostered. And I like that. I think he's in for a huge weekend. And then the last guy to talk about is Blaze Alexander, shortstop / designated hitter of the Diamondbacks, 3 games versus the Cardinals starting tomorrow. He's 1.6% rostered. I don't understand and I don't get it why he's under 2% rostered. He plays almost every day for the Diamondbacks, whether it be he's playing shortstop right now because Gerardo Perdomo has been out injured. If you need shortstop help, I would consider picking up Blaze Alexander. And I'm going to throw a bonus waiver wire hitter to stream for you this weekend. Curtis Mead of the Tampa Bay Rays. It sounds like Brandon Lau is going to miss time, and he's going to go on the injured list for the Rays. And that would mean more playing time for Curtis Mead. And if that's what you were hesitant as to picking up Curtis Mead, I would not be hesitant anymore. I would go out on the waiver wire and add Curtis Mead and stream him this weekend against the Giants. He is, I believe, he's less than 1% rostered. Now, if you didn't know the Sports Talk podcast, we offer merch. And I'm wearing some of the old merch right now. This is one of these shirts. The new merch is up. It includes the website to how to find our merch here at the Sports Talk podcast. We also offer memberships as well. They start at 99 cents a month. With college football season coming around, I highly recommend purchasing a membership so you don't miss out on the content that's going to be coming out. And speaking of content coming out in September, I have a trip planned to Blacksburg, Virginia with the Sports Talk podcast, which is me. 4 days. We'll be in Blacksburg for 5 days, but the 5th day we fly home. So 4 days, we're in Blacksburg, Virginia. We get in Thursday. I don't know the time yet, but I will be streaming all 4 of those days. Live on YouTube, you will get behind-the-scenes footage of the trip. And that Saturday for the Marshall, Virginia Tech game, you'll get a game day vlog throughout the day, during the game, and after the game. But for the Sports Talk podcast, that wraps up today's episode. We will see you tomorrow night for the watch party for the Cincinnati Reds and Chicago White Sox game. Sports Talk podcast signing off. Goodbye.